All right, guys, welcome to MAGA First, the channel where we are putting MAGA first, American values first, love of country first. There's a lot of things we got to put first again, guys, and it starts with an understanding of who belongs where. And case in point, black folks, if the Shannon Sharpe incident doesn't teach you anything else, it should teach you why being on the left is so dangerous. A lot of people, black folks, tend to subscribe to leftist philosophy for reasons of social equality. I know that's a big driver. You know, given the past and given the historic events, it would seem advantageous to side with the party who's preaching social advancement. But when you think about it, black folks, when you dig deeper, your social advancement is not tied in with a whole pool of wealth, as a lot of people's are. You know, they can preach social advancement. You know, I just found out Harvard, a big place that preaches social advancement, has an endowment of about $9 billion. All right. Just to give you some context as to how these institutions can sustain themselves. Now, they're suing the Trump administration, but they've got the means to hold out and to even absorb a loss. Black folks, we just simply don't have that opportunity. We don't have that vast resource. So we need to, if nothing else, to preserve your wealth. It may be better, it may behoove you to live a more conservative lifestyle. My man Shannon Sharpe could definitely use this lesson. Okay, being more conservative with his money, with his morals. These are the things that would keep him on pace to signing the $100 million contract he was just in line to sign. But instead, messing around with these liberals and this leftist ideology, he finds himself wrapped up in a whirlwind of pain and possibly has his whole fortune at stake. And this doesn't just go for Shannon Sharpe. This goes for a lot of black men out there. You got the Diddy's and the Jay-Z's and the R. Kelly's, and like, you guys, you gotta maintain some sort of decorum out here. Okay, you can't be drinking the leftist Kool-Aid and expect them to come and bail you out when you find yourself in trouble. Hasn't worked yet. So Shannon Sharpe, you know, I see him on TV pleading his case, you know, begging folks to kind of understand his side of the story. But again, had he had more conservative traditional values, maybe Monique said it best. Monique told him on his own show, dude, you need to settle down, get you somebody your age, get you a traditional woman with traditional values who's going to love you, who's going to know how to feed you and take care of you and your old man problems, not this 26-year-old girls that you're running out here with who have no clue on what it means to be with someone of your age and stature. They simply see a bag. That's it. And how you could be so vulnerable. I mean, this is a big wake up call, guys. But it's an opportunity. Again, it's just good news in a way, because this is going to show us that, you know, the left, they don't have our best interest at hand. You know, what the left basically sees in us is a voting block, and we're nothing more than that. And we got to keep that in perspective. We're just a voting block, and when we suffer financial loss like this, it's not gonna there's not gonna be anyone there to bail us out. Okay, so to all the Diddy's out there and Shannon Sharps and R. Kelly's, and the list goes on of black men flaunting their wealth and flaunting their status and thinking that the left is going to protect them, this should be your opportunity to jump ship. You know, a lot of us did during the election, and I started to see the leftist media panic and then try to reel us back onto the plantation. You know, they started putting out certain stories that said that, well, you know, black people were regretting their vote. Black people may not have had this, you know, Trump didn't have the support amongst black people as we may have thought initially. Those were all meant to demoralize and get us back on the plantation. That's another sign that the left is desperate. When they start doing things like that, they use fear as a tactic to keep us in place. So by now, guys, you see the tricks. Okay, so 2025 is a great year. 2024 was very revealing, as Cat Williams said, but 2025 is continuing in that same vein. But the problem is, or the question is, when these things do get exposed, how will you black men, how will you focus in? How will you take this information when you see these revelations? This is the last time I want to hear about another black man going down because he couldn't keep his thing in his pants and he couldn't understand the difference between being in on the left and of the left. Okay, we are just simply of the left. The whole Black American is a poverty case, is an invention of the left. So a lot of blacks, when they get somewhere, when they do get a little bit of status, they start feeling themselves. They start getting a little bit too high on the hog, and they have to be brought down a peg or two. And that is because, like they used to be worn back in the day, you're out of your place, boy. At the end of the day, we still look at you as a, what, inward. So you're never going to leave that stature. Okay, so you might as well understand that now black folks should start protecting your wealth. Okay, the sooner we can subscribe to conservative values, saving, understanding the value of a dollar. Because my man Shannon Sharpe, speaking the value of a dollar, he was up for $100 million contract, and he was, I guess he thought he was Joe Rogan, but you're not. You're still Shannon Sharpe, Shannon, and you're not Joe Rogan. So you got to be careful when you play these games, especially black wealth. Like I said, it's more precarious. It's harder to achieve than most people realize. So when you do, conservatism, American values from the beginning, that's why we have them. American values fundamentally are there to protect what we have. So by adhering to those values of, frugalness, conservatism, moral depth, those things are what black folks need if we have any intention on keeping our wealth. Otherwise, it's just going to continue the same cycle of rise and fall. You're going to see lots of black men being built up, maybe even making a bag, making a billion or so. But it's all a paper house. It's all a glass house if you can't keep those things together with solid conservative values. So that's why you should check out this channel. If you're looking for some conservative values and you're trying to reconnect with that past, because believe it or not, black people, our past is more conservative than it is liberal. Black Wall Street comes to mind. We definitely know how to keep a buck when we have our heads in the game. But right now, the way the media cycle works and the way the leftist Democrats tend to keep black people anchored to the plantation, and the way we tend to flaunt money and think of ourselves as invincible once we get there, just simply because of what it took to get there. You have to remember humility is always going to be your best bet. All right, folks? So stay humble, stay conservative, put America first, put American values first, and you'll see your wealth go a lot further than now. I'm afraid Shannon won't be the first or the last person sitting on the news begging us to overlook his past transgressions, realize the setup, oh, they're just coming after me because I'm a black man. All those things are going to continue until we, eventually wake up from leftist ideology and get more into a America first attitude. All right, guys. So that's all I want to say on this video. Just thought we needed to address this. I see this again as a great opportunity. While I am sorry for Shannon Sharpe's, dilemma and drama and the things he's going to have to deal with now coming forward, if I could do anything, I can offer this advice. Shannon, it's never too late to change. It's never too late to change. We can get back on the conservative bus and try to maintain what wealth we have left. But for now, if we continue down this path, we're just going to see more black wealth squandered away. All right, guys. Well, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. And I want to thank you guys for your great response on the last video. I appreciate those subs. Please keep them coming. It's motivating. It lets us know we're doing something for you folks, giving you a part of your day that's not, overtaken by the bad news and how everything's going to crap. Honestly, it's just that we've forgotten our American values, the values that got us this far before things all went to crap. We get back to those guys, we're going to be well on our way to a more prosperous future, black and white. All right, folks? All right, well, thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all tomorrow for the next video. But for now, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.